sending letters. Mr. Costello just handed us a letter of support by the West Virginia Council of Trout Unlimited, National Mountain Bicycling Association. Here's one from the Pocahontas County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Just a sentence from this: the proposed Birthplace of Rivers National Monument presents the potential for a positive impact on Pocahontas County's tourism-based economy. It's a long letter. Hillsborough Library Friends. We have voted unanimously to support. Thank you. We have voted unanimously to support the proposed national monument designation in the Monongahela National Forest. Okay. Mr. Galford just sent this in from the Shavers Fork Coalition. The Shavers Fork Coalition organizes a nonprofit watershed. In 1997, is a watershed organization dedicated to ecological health, natural appeal, cultural heritage of the watershed. They fully support the national monument movement to promote the conservation of a unique natural resource, and supports the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument. Thank you, Mr. Galford. Snowshoe Mountain. A letter from Snowshoe Mountain signed by Ed Galford. It's a long letter here. I do hope the Commission will be moved to publicly support the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument. Sue Ann Heatherly, President of the Pocahontas County Free Library. Another long letter. We believe national monument status is a fitting designation for some of Pocahontas County's greatest natural, cultural, and historic assets. We encourage the Commission to support this. That's copies here. Frank DeBerry, COO and President, Snowshoe, hopes the Commission will be moved to publicly support the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument movement. All these letters will be available. They're public record, of course. You can make copies of them and take them with you. Mountain Valley Properties, Rentals and Real Estate, Debbie Goodwin, broker, owner. Mountain Valley Properties supports and encourages further exploration of this potential designation. Christians for the Mountains, signed by Alan Johnson, coordinator. Thank you for considering, it's a very long letter, thank you for considering the invitation, Christians for the Mountains invitation to join with us in increasing numbers of other organizations and individuals who enthusiastically and wholeheartedly endorse the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument. Eight Rivers Council, Sheila Allison, President. The Eight Rivers Council supports the designation of the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument. I think that's all the letters. Okay, let me read the resolution that Mr. Costello has given us for our consideration. Whereas Pocahontas County is known as the birthplace of rivers, and whereas the southern Monongahela National Forest region is a premier destination for outdoor recreation, and whereas national monument designation would preserve a unique landscape of the most iconic natural, cultural, and historic features in Pocahontas County and West Virginia as a whole, and whereas national monument designation would increase the visibility of Pocahontas County and local municipalities as gateway communities to become sought-out destinations, and whereas national monument designation promotes the continued discovery and celebration of Pocahontas County's cultural heritage, and whereas local traditions such as hunting, fishing, and gathering shall continue under national monument designation, and whereas wildlife management shall continue under the direction of the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, and whereas national monument designation helps to preserve special lands which have been used by local communities and of visitors throughout history, and whereas national monument designation is likely to contribute to a thriving tourism economy and bring significant benefits to directly and indirectly related business sectors in Pocahontas County, and whereas national monument designation is compatible with industrial activities on private lands, as well as other national forest lands where such activities are emphasized, and whereas funding for essential services such as ambulance and volunteer fire departments is dependent upon quality tourism in Pocahontas County, And whereas tourism revenue is an important contributor to the budget of Pocahontas Memorial Hospital, and whereas Pocahontas Free Libraries receives approximately half of its funding from tourism revenue, and whereas national monument designation shall occur following a collaborative process involving local stakeholders, and whereas local stakeholders shall be involved in the development of a management plan following potential monument designation, and whereas the National Monument Initiative is supported by diverse constituencies, including sportsmen, religious organizations, and dozens of local and regional businesses. Upon all of which, the Pocahontas County Commission by its council does hereby resolve that it acknowledges the economic benefits of national monument designation and supports designation of the Birthplace of Rivers National Monument. That's the resolution.
I would move that we adopt this resolution.
I'll second that. Any further comments or discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to make one more comment. Mr. Sheffer made the motion that he felt it was an honor that the president would do this for West Virginia, Pocahontas County. I feel fairly confident. He's probably never been to Cranberry Glades, so he probably knows absolutely nothing about it.
I certainly have been to Cranberry.
No, I'm talking about the president.
Oh, the president.
So I can't really see. To me, the people that needs to be honored for this is the local Forest Service, the local law enforcement, and the local people that live here and has got it in the shape it's in as of today, which nobody ever gives recognition to. You know, it didn't get that way on its own. Somebody made it that way, just like the rest of Pocahontas County. When the oil and gas was brought up, it's not. The property is just there. It's the landowners that's owned it and managed it in the past that put it where it's at today. And if you want to keep it that way, you ought to let the same people stay in control of it as far as I'm concerned.
Can I make a comment to that real quick? You know, back when the U.S. Forest Service was created, back when Teddy Roosevelt was president, it was a president who stood up and set the money aside, had the vision to come in to places like, let's say, Black Mountain on Scenic Highway and put those into, you know, purchase those so that what we have today is indirectly from a president over 100 years ago. So I would say that I think that it's an honor, and I support what you all are doing.
But as far as the purchasing, it wasn't the president that purchased that. That's your local law enforcement, your local Forest Service ranger station.
No, you're wrong. It was taxpayers' money around this country